Crab cakes, food was amazing. I told my I can't live here.
You have a poor boy?
I did.
Poor boy?
Poor boy.
I think we offer a great benefit by
I did
telling
Cafe
them,
du Monde.
you know, what we see and
Very
seeing
good
that the
food,
work was
yeah.
done, but if the program's not working.
Okay, we'll move to item 8, the building criteria for new headquarters.
Item number 9, yes.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, as you know, we've been looking for another building to replace this building, and the reason is really for the plan for our build out, you know, as we grow. And so, as we looked at a couple of buildings, it was brought to our attention by the board members that maybe we should talk about the criteria, so we're not running around with our heads cut off. And so, the purpose for today is really maybe I can share with you some criteria, and if you're okay with that, then I can share that with our broker. And okay, here's what we're looking for. Don't give us any information unless you find these criteria. And so, obviously, you know, right now this building is about 4,500 square feet. The last two buildings I showed you, here's what we looked at for built out, what we need. So we're probably looking at, you know, if we want to accommodate built out, we're looking at anywhere between 9,000 and 10,000 square feet, basically doubling the size of this building. We definitely want to have plenty of parking, because, you know, even when we have our meetings, staff is parking over at the senior center right now because there's just inadequate parking here as it is. Also, we wanted to have a secured place, you know, definitely secured for staff's safety and for the public. We want to, if the building has, or probably has equipment storage capabilities, you know, it'd be nice if we can store some of our generators at the new building. It'd also be nice if we can move the code enforcement to the new building as well. Move his vehicle over here, and again, it frees up some space at the yard. Single story, I think would be nice, but you know, because you know, if you go double story, then you got to look at elevators. You know, and that's another issue. So I think single story would be appropriate. Centrally located, obviously, would be ideal, but it's probably not feasible. But we'll definitely look at, you know, location, easy to find, is essential. Good signage, I think, is also important. We want to make sure we can put signage where people can easily find us. And then I have also heard a question, HOA. I mean, some of the buildings we looked at have HOAs. I don't know if that's a deal breaker with you. If you want us to look at those that don't have HOAs.
Not me necessarily.
Okay.
I've been involved with HOAs.
Depends on the criteria of HOAs.
Yeah, I think we need some advice on how restrictive they are. And, the one over by the airport was so restrictive.
Right.
That would have strangled us, I
Of
think.
course, that's where I was accessible to the public.
Yes, definitely. So those are the criteria I wrote down. If there was anything else that, if you agree, or is there anything else you want me to add to that?
Well, when the ad hoc committee meets tomorrow, that's one of the things that is listed on our policies already that we can discuss. It's the criteria for building selection. So it's in the stuff that you presented to us.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. We can go over that.
For the
tomorrow.
policy manual changes.
I'm not sure if it's a policy yet, but it's under one of the things that you submitted to us.
What is the broker? Is he shopping and then letting you know where?
Yeah, when he gets a listing of properties for sale, he'll shoot it out to us and say, hey, this just came up for sale.
I noticed a couple of properties on Placentia when I was driving the other day. They were single-story buildings with, you know, yardage in the back.
I think we've seen those, right? The one with
I think we have.
Okay.
You know, you might also list land. I mean, there's not a lot of land that comes up, but if it should, we could build our own building, you know.
Well, you know, at the planning commission meeting last night, McCarthy mentioned something to the effect that I guess Fairview Developmental Center is about ready to fold their tent and go away.
Who was for it?
Fairview
Oh, yes,
Developmental
yeah,
Center.
yes, right.
So I agree with Jim. I mean, if land becomes available, something to consider.
I looked on
I mean, it would
Roseland
obviously
Street,
add
and there was some.
gear to our
Sure.
plans.
Yeah, remember?
Now, with all that said, would the board object if we at least make a contact with the property owner next door and see if they're interested in selling?
I wouldn't have a problem with it because I think security-wise, we could, you know, make this secure out here.
Yeah, I agree.
And, you know, have a automatic gate,
Right,
that whole
right.
thing. So I think, yeah, I mean, obviously you either probably knock that thing
Knock it
down.
out and start from scratch.
Yeah.
But
Make it parking lot.
Yeah, I think that's another.
And next to him, is that, what?
Residential.
A home?
Yes,
Oh, okay, okay. I thought maybe
I
it
wonder how
was
this
one
is,
of them.
if it's zoned
But a
commercial
home
all
here,
the way
yeah.
back,
Can't be more than
or mixed,
It's probably just commercial, C2.
C2 all the way back to the house.
Yeah.
So do you want me to, you know, like Vice President Perry said, we're meeting tomorrow, I think, right? So do you want us to hash these out a little bit more, the criteria?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but probably the only criteria I have, I think all those are great criteria. I'd be interested in, staffing. You kind of glossed over that, but, you have some, in the different buildings, you've had some different positions and presently on staff. And I think what, if you're gonna meet, one of them is, whether or not we ever bring engineering in. I have low interest at present, just off the top of my head, in bringing engineering in, and then the engineering in on staff in the building. I think that we've historically advertised that we're very highly outsourced, and we have 14% overhead costs, staffing and whatnot. And I for one think that has been a good selling point. So I think you ought to look at that's going to be part of your meeting. Trying to maintain that number, and that'll be a different size building. And I think that should be decided before the broker and told to the broker. I would not vote for having a staff of 20. You haven't even told us what the number is. It depended on the building. And so I would think we should settle on potentially a building that's adequate in all these criteria with the present staffing.
But we're looking at the future, Director. We're looking at
And
the
I am
build out.
too. I
Looking
am
at build.
too.
I mean, Rob one day will retire, right?
Oh, that's
I think-
impossible.
Rob will one day retire.
I am all for
You know?
Rob retiring when he wants to
Right,
retire.
right.
Energy,
I am not
money.
I'm not for staff thinking that that's the time to bring engineering in-house.
We all agree on that, I'd say.
And so, that's a different number than you're looking at right now. That's a different number than you've told the broker. Or the different number than you've told us when you have selected buildings and put offices in there. And that's a key criteria.
Yeah, again, we're looking towards the future of 10, 15 years from now, if we're built out.
My build-out
because-
options is different than it sounds like from yours.
Well, because I've heard from the board, if we go down this road, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to look out, hey, we're built out, we got to look for another building. And so that's what we were looking at. Okay, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it one time, and this is how, and this is what it will look like built out.
And my criteria that I'm discussing with you takes that into consideration. If you say we're never going to internalize engineering, that's a number that you don't ever have to worry about in the future. You are now, the staff, my opinion is that the staff now has in mind the future build-out to include engineering, and I disagree with that. And that's something, that makes the size of the building, the parking needs, and
Why do you disagree with it?
Because I want to continue to tell the community what we've told them all along, and that is that our overhead is 14%, including staffing, of our budget, and not 75% that the cities have. I mean, we told that time and time again to the public. We are a very efficient organization. I want to retain that efficiency. I want it to be decided whether we're going to retain it or not. That's a huge selling point for being a special district that is very efficiently run. And we've told that to the public. It's 14%, 16%, or whatever it is, and not what the cities are, which is 75% staffing costs. Yeah.
Well, Rob's gonna live to be 100, so it's
That's out of our hands.
it's really
Yeah,
irrelevant.
he's healthy. I'll tell the next board what you guys have in mind.
There you go.
There you go.
But I think that's the only criteria that I think is worth deciding on.
Well, I don't know if we have to list that as, in looking for a building, but we can keep that in mind when we occupy the building.
But you have to have, if that is, if staff decides we're going to go to 20 for future build out, 20 staff instead of 12.
Yeah,
That's-
they've never told us that. We've never
No,
discussed that.
they have, because when those buildings have, when they put offices in those buildings,
I was gonna rent out all those offices and make more money for the district.
Yeah.
they've included all those positions. The staff's vision of build out is presently different than mine.
Yeah, I would say our first step is to look at the building. If we find something that's to our interest, then we go from there.
But if they tell Joe we have a range, it's 12 or it's 20, Joe
You're
has
talking
to look
You're
for,
talking about square footage.
with staffing,
Yeah, I mean-
office accommodations, parking. No, what all criteria you
I
got?
would say we have to wait. We have to, right now we're here. And in the future, if we find something, then we decide if that's the building for us, based on our needs at the present time and the future.
And the build out's for the,
Well, I think that it's the board's obligation to decide on, or to be a part of the decision on what our future staffing would be.
We're always here in the city.
But.
It's
but
just
speaking of
premature
that-
right now
Yeah,
to,
premature. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it's
to plan
premature.
on that, and view the fact that Rob's still with us, we don't have any
Yeah.
plans
poor
to
Rob.
change that scenario.
There's a lot, I think there's a lot
I
of
mean,
factors.
look at the,
As Mr. Mosier's pointed out in the past, even with the technology, and there's a lot of things to consider in this mix.
Yeah.
I want to be prepared, whatever the consequences are, whether we include future needs of staff or future needs of technology. Again, what Scott just said appeals to me. We should only do this one more time. I mean, I don't want to burden the future boards.
we could do that, but
We
it
all-
depends on whether we're gonna be a small staff or a big staff.
We can always blame it
And
on
I'm saying
Wendy.
that needs to be.
Thank you.
There's my last comment.
There's the last person.
Wendy would never give us
What
that.
did you say, Jim?
There you go. Always blame it on Wendy.
We probably would.
Come on down to this end
So
of the
then
table.
tomorrow, as you talk, and then we can bring this.
Sure. Yeah, we'll give you guys an update as we go. It's not gonna be a long process.
Yeah.
Knowing you two take months.
No, we're told our needs to be a fast process.
Yeah.
Because everything's outlined really well right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Mosher, you have number 9 possibly. We've probably taken the possibly out for you, haven't we?
Pretty much.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I've missed about half the meetings about this. I can't comment too intelligently. But, and I personally, as a resident and ratepayer, it's not obvious to me whether in-house engineering or outsourced engineering is more cost-effective for me as a ratepayer. I really don't know. But I would like to echo Director Putin's comment. The whole basis of this and the size of building you're looking for, I would hope is predicated on a really clear understanding of what the board envisions the district to look like 10 years from now, so that we're not buying a building twice as big as we need and find it half empty.
Very good. Okay, so you guys know where we're going on that. Okay. Number 10 is the mayor's celebration. Scott?
Yeah, just need direction from the board if you want to participate in this event. We've done it in the past. I mean, we've typically gone silver sponsor, which is $2,500. Typically, that gives us a table, I believe, and gives a bunch of advertisement. You'll see our names on the programs up on the big screen. So, just getting some direction from the board. What do you want to do?
I voted no last year. Continue to vote no, because I don't see any value to the district in participating in this event. And I think last year we didn't get our name in the program.
Yeah, we did.
Did
We
we?
did.
The year before we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm kind of on your side this time around because the two guys they're honoring, I don't even know who the hell
Well,
they are. You know?
since Art brought it up first, I'm kind of leaning with Art too, because I did a little research.
Really?
Well, I did a little research on the people that they're honoring, and there's been our city council's been very, very forward in recognizing developers and lawyers and people that serve their interests. These two guys were the developers of Triangle, the Triangle Square area. And so now, with all that said, when I look at what the money is supposed to be used for, just because the mayor is doing something I may not agree with, is that money being used to help some kids that need the money? So I'm kind of on the fence right now with it. I don't see a lot of benefit in this thing. It's a party.
See, I
But-
do. I see benefit for the simple reason, PR-wise, that our name is out there, we're part of the city, not necessarily the city that council that we with, but also the city itself. And, you know, that we're in so much involvement in the community that this is just part of us being part of the community.
Well, we could send one representative, I think, and that would satisfy our, appearance there.
Are we gonna decide, vote on this at the board meeting?
If I could, I think they want a decision soon. I think it's due really soon. So if the board doesn't mind giving us directions today on what you want to do.
I've historically attended the event, and the disappointing part is not who they're honoring, but they do a really good job of doing videos and whatnot. And what I've suggested to Rickheimer and others is that what they ought to do is do videos of where the money's going.
Yeah.
You know, it's supporting the arts.
Yeah.
And they just get short shrift. The money does help certain individuals in the community, and I'd be supportive of that. But they make too big a deal of the people they're honoring. You know, they spend a lot of time and money and make videos of them, and they flash their face on the screen and whatnot. I personally can't attend the event this year because we're having a Friends of the Library program that night. But I've historically attended, and they don't listen. But I think supporting the event, I agree with Arlene, supporting the event is, the money goes to worthwhile causes.
I know, to me, it's just like saying, we're not gonna be part of the liaison committee, and you have to be, because you're in the community, and, you're able to work with these people, you have to no matter what.
You can just buy one seat, can't you?
Sure, we can buy individual, but our names won't be out there. Our names won't be in the programs. Won't be on the screens. We won't get any kind of advertising. In fact, when you think about it, I mean, that might be a challenge because that could be give public funds because the reason why that's how we justify it is that it's promoting our programs, promotes the district. So if so if we just go in one individual, we don't get that promotion. So that maybe we can't do that. Yeah, I don't know if we can do that.
Mr. Mosher, you got this on your card.
Yes. On this matter, I agree with Director Perry. Reading the letter that's in the agenda packet, the money being raised is going for arts education programs. But that is not a function that people in the sanitary district are paying their fee for. If we want to support arts education programs, we can do that on our own. We're not paying our bill to this district for the money to be used for that use. So the only possible justification of this is the advertising function, and it seems like not a big bang for the buck use of the district's advertising money. So I cannot really see the justification for this. The other comment I wanted to make is that we are talking about mayor's dinners for the Costa Mesa mayor. As we see on the seal up there, and as we all know, the sanitary district actually preceded the city of Costa Mesa. And I assume but do not know that when the district was formed, the entire area that the district currently covers was unincorporated unincorporated county land. A huge part of that was annexed into Costa Mesa subsequent to 1944. But other parts of it were annexed into the city of Newport Beach subsequent to 1944.
And the city of Santa Ana.
Yeah.
And perhaps a tiny bit in the city of Santa Ana. Now, I don't know about Santa Ana. I know that Newport Beach has a mayor's dinner also, which would be a good opportunity for the board to get acquainted with the administration in Newport Beach. However, again, I could not justify that as a proper expense because the advertising associated that would be nil. And just as a matter of interest, I wanted to point out to you, considering the overlap, actually one of the city council people on the Newport Beach City Council, Councilman Tony Petros, who had the voters not gone in a different direction, would have been in line to be probably this year Mayor Pro Tem, and next year the mayor being celebrated at the mayor's dinner in Newport Beach, is, like me, actually a resident of Costa Mesa Sanitary Sewer District. So,
I just want to tell you the good news, bad news. This Lions Convention starts the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. So I will not be going to this.
I wouldn't be going if it was tomorrow.
So I'm hearing this is a no.
I'm hearing,
That's what
I'm hearing the
I'm
majority of us
just
saying
looking
no.
at that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay,
very good, thank you.
thanks. Okay, Neo Gavon.
Thank you, Mr. President. Denise Martinez is going to give the presentation, and she's going to give you a demo of a new program we put in place. As you know, one of our core values is technology, and so this is a new ties into the core values, a new way of, when we hire new staff, they go through a whole orientation and a lot of documents they have to sign and go through this. It kind of streamlines the process, and it's all done electronically. It's pretty neat. So I'm going to have Denise give you a demonstration.
Thank you, Scott, Mr. President, board members, and guests. Right now, the Costa Mesa Sanitary District uses a product called Insight by NeoGov to manage our recruitment and selection process. It helps us to streamline that process and also automate that process. We can track employment applications, we can set up interviews through that process, we can also screen our candidates through that process, so it's really been beneficial for our organization and also for users of that system. So NeoGov also offers another product that's called onboarding. And what onboarding is when you're getting a new hire acclimated to your agency. You socialize them to our agency, you give them the KSAs to begin working for our agency, and you help them to hit the ground running as soon as possible. And this system allows you to do that because it uses modern technology and really streamlines that process. So I'm going to show you how it works. If you hire an employee, they'll already have their data gathered in the NeoGov system because we're already using it for the recruitment and selection process. So we'll have their email in there. So we hire somebody, we use their email and send them a login for this site. So then they set up their account and they'd go and sign in. And hopefully this is hold on. There we go. Okay. So they use their username to sign in.
Are they doing this on their own system?
Yes, they can do it anywhere. You can do it on any computer. Okay, so they log into the site and they're going to be presented with this main screen. And the main screen, what it really does is help them to get acclimated to our agency. They can see, oh, here's our team, and also they can get a special message from our general manager. And then it shows our mission statement, our vision, our core values, talks about our agency. It also gives some photographs of the locations, and then there's a little video they can watch. And then we can direct them to our website to get some more information. And you can put anything you want on here. So these are just some, you're thinking about what does a new hire want to know about our agency when they're coming on board.
I want to know how Jimmy Fallon got elected.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Fallon is our new hire example. So then you can also set up a checklist because there's like Scott mentioned, there's a lot of forms you want them to look at, or rules, steps they want to take, that they need to take. So you have these steps over here. For instance, everyone has to fill out an I-9 form. So you can do that electronically. You just click on this step and it brings up the form, you fill it out, and you can even sign it electronically. So that saves some time. That way we can get that all ready to go on their first day. And then also, you might have them reference a document. Let me see here. So, for instance, they have to review policies just to acclimate themselves to our rules and our procedures. So what you're going to do is you're going to look in the document bank. So at the top of the screen, you have where's my screen? You have all the forms, and then you also have a document bank that lists all these different documents that you can put in and that employees can reference. And once they complete a step, they just click on this step, and they mark it complete and save the changes. And then it's going to update this progress bar. So they have all these steps and then the progress bar. Another feature is they can look and see, oh, what's our organization look like? They can access an org chart. So it shows their picture after we get them a picture, and then you click this up arrow, it'll show their supervisor, and then you keep going, and it's going to show the entire organization. So we have that feature. So this is useful. Like I said, it's going to help us acclimate new hires to our agency. It's also leveraging technology. It also enables us to have a standardized, transparent process for onboarding. So it's really a beneficial program that we can use. And we're in the process of setting it up, and that's what it looks like. Do you have any questions?
How much does it cost?
Yeah,
That's a good question.
That's the whole thing we
It's $2,000 a year.
Well, we went through a pretty extensive succession planning process where we were gathering data to transmit to future employees, so.
Oh, yeah. Knowledge transfer?
Knowledge transfer program should be a criteria. Do they have to sign off that they've read the operations code?
Yes, yes, we have a
Yeah, so,
document
yeah, I
for them
think,
to do
you know,
that.
make them,
Mm-hmm.
at the Orange County Ten District, we had training programs and they had to
Right,
sign off that they'd at least seen something
exactly.
and read it.
Uh-huh. So they can't come back and say, I didn't know. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, they can come back and say that, but
Yeah, yes, they can.
they will, but it'll slow them down.
Yeah, so that's what it looks like. And then it also just takes you to this dashboard. The dashboard is typically where you're going to end up, and it lists all the steps that you need to take, the due dates, you know, whether or not you have to do an action or not. Like, if you hover over this, it'll say complete a form, or I don't know what the update. So this is what it looks like, and this is what we're working on. So we're trying to get this all dialed in because we have some new hires coming on board. We have a maintenance assistant and a permit tech coming on board. So the goal is to pilot it with those two positions.
Now, will you get all the employees dialed into that, or, you know, for the record?
Yeah, we can do that. As far as training.
Existing employees.
Existing employees. I don't know if there's any value to that.
Well, could
Yeah,
it
I
be used
think
for
that's
like
good.
tracking of training programs?
Yeah.
We use
use
Target
it- We use it
Solutions.
different, we use it different.
We
can
use
give
the
you-
Target
Yeah,
Solutions
Target,
for
that's
that.
the RMA, we're using Target Solutions. We can give a demonstration on that next month if you want us to, but we track that at Target Solutions. This is really intent for all new employees.
Because we don't log them into our system and our software until they're actually here. But the huge benefit is, being a new hire, is, you know, I sat with Anna and we went through a book that was like this. You know, it's like, okay, you know, there was so much information and you're supposed to go read it later while you're learning your new job. This way you can do it
Well,
on your own time and your
and-
own.
The type of people, the age of the people we're gonna be hiring, sitting reading a book makes no sense whatsoever. This is relevant to what their mindset is, and I think we're way ahead of the curve when you get them. I mean, I know what it takes for me to hire an employee and put them through training and stuff. It's cost way more than $2,000, I'll tell you that. So this looks like a pretty above the curve system as far as I'm concerned.
Does Orange County Stan use this system currently?
No. We've always used NeoGov as our hiring, and so this is just an added module that was purchased this year. We use Target Solutions for our training of existing employees.
Yeah.
And then on our new Springbrook software, we've bought a HR Lite module, which will allow employees to go in and get their own W-2s and get some information. So we're really going paperless and automated, and it facilitates the employee doing it at their preferred time, as opposed to us having to hand out, okay, everyone needs a new, W-2.
Will this be the only way to apply for a job?
It is right now.
Yeah.
It would be they wouldn't be able to
That's
come in.
currently our process. We use the NeoGov module for recruitment and selection, and yes, that's the only way people can apply for our jobs now. And that's pretty standard industry right now. Yeah.
So do you think the cost is worth $2,000 a year, Wendy, as a financial analyzer?
Yeah, I thought it was a good program. I found the money for it when Denise asked for it and presented it. I thought it was something that was beneficial. I think that, we've had a lot of turnover in the last couple of years, and so this would have been handy because we've, spent a lot of money on training and updating information. And so I think this makes it online as opposed to a paper document that might be obsolete.
Is this going to the board meeting this month for discussion and approval?
It's under $2,000 and
Yeah,
under my
so
authority to
you can-
approve. And it's just,
Okay.
FYI, this again, it goes to our core values of our strategic plan of technology, and so I want to demonstrate, hey, this is what we believe in, and so we're moving
So we're
forward.
on board now. with this one.
Yes.
Yeah, again, I think for the people, younger people that are
No, I
getting
agree.
involved, it's a value.
That's
Yeah.
older people too.
This could help some older people.
Bob and I are pretty affluent in
Well, it can certainly help existing employees as well because you're organizing all the information about employment. And so we can keep all that information in a centralized location for even our existing employees to access easily.
Does this replace or not replace, does this help with like employee, we used to call them shields or files or whatever, I don't know whether, does this go into like their employee shield or file or?
Yeah, you can manage all the information that they're, all the forms that they're filling out in this program are all manageable on here.
Okay.
So you don't have to put it in a personnel file, it's all in this system. And we can run reports on it and.
You could do disciplinary actions, you could do, and not that we would ever need to on any
Well,
employees, but.
It's a good point you bring up, that they do also have another module, that's a performance management module.
And I could not find enough money for that.
That
We'll
one
have to
is,
wait.
That may be something we want to look at
it's about
down the line.
4,000 is what they're quoting, but I think we can negotiate with them. And since we're a smaller agency and we already have modules in place, if that's something we want to do.
I think it's something we can talk about.
One of the things that I wanted to do was wait until we got our new software with our new modules in and see what they offered to us because they're all integrated with our finance and payroll. And so this was a service that we didn't currently offer because it was to the people we were looking to employ. So it was a nice fit for us. Whereas the other module may end up being something beneficial, but we wanted just to wait until we knew. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of thing, professional thing that smaller agencies who don't have extensive HR staff need.
Yeah.
This is a substitute for having the 8, 10, 12 people Orange County Fan District has in their HR staff. And we have very few.
Good job. Okay, for future study session items, I hate to do this to all of you, but I had a visitor in my office a couple weeks ago who says that the sanitary district needs to go on the forefront on recirculating pumps to their water heaters.
What?
Worthington?
Yeah.
Probably not a bad idea. But
Well, remember that presentation that he came in, and I told him I'm not interested. I mean, I think the water district is where he should be going with this thing, but he felt that the sanitary district should take the lead in talking people into putting these things in.
Just looking for some of it.
So,
Yeah, I
okay.
mean, I think it's a good
Well, let
idea,
me-
but not for us.
Well,
I think it's a great idea, but not
I've
for
got
us.
one of those tankless water heaters.
Instant hot water. That's what I told him that they had to go after.
And I need something like that. I mean, because it takes forever.
I know, I thought
There you
his
go.
presentation was pretty informative. You know.
I installed one of those in my house myself. It's awesome.
Would you come to my house?
No.
So when you turn your shower on, you have hot water right now.
Well, I had a single-story house that was 2,600 square feet, and the water heater was at the very front of the garage, and my master bath was at the very back of the house,
Yeah, I got
and
a
it took
two-story.
forever. So you install this on the pipe, and then you just push a button before you get in the shower, and so it starts forcing the cold water back to the water heater, so the hot. it was really easy to do, and I thought it was great for that. My house I have now has an automatic recirculator, but I did it at home myself, and pushing a button's no big deal. You know, when you want to use it for the furthest bathroom.
I can't forget to get a towel half the time. Push a button. Okay, anyway, that's all. And then the other thing, at the Waco meeting last week, I picked up one of these, the Orange County Water Summit flyers. I've been to one or two of these. These are really good.
Yeah, they are.
So I need to check my calendar, but I may ask you to enroll me. It's at the Disneyland Hotel on May 15th. I think in our environment, even though we're wastewater right now, I think that the information that comes out of here is really, really good.
Don't forget that Lions Convention.
Is that the Thursday?
Or it's Monday. No, I mean
It's
the
the
wrong month.
14th, 15th, 16th.
Well, I'm not going to the whole convention.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
That's a Friday.
So, okay.
Oh, a couple of items.
Yes, sir.
Well, I asked you to do the pilot program on trash containers. Oh, wait.
In the
No,
alleys.
an update on where we're at with pilot trash containers in alleys program.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think we ought to also, there's been a lot of data on water usage because of the drought, water usage for plants. I think there's also information that we ought to be posting on water savings for recycling cans or bottles or paper or what, you know, there's also data on that, and that wasn't in that list, the LA Times, some 50 items, how much water a beef needs, how much water a tomato needs, how much water whatever needs. But I think water usage, there's quite a lot of water savings when you recirculate aluminum cans and whatnot. And then I think also, you know, we've been getting a little attention with Beaver's article. I'd like to see staff and or the board be proactive in getting out and contacting the HOAs and the residents that our future project may impact the abandonment project. They're all working on data that is the Orange County Sand District information, which is a 2-year project. We haven't determined how long our project is, but the environmentalists aren't shy about going to the HOA and saying, you know, they're going to screw you up for the next 2 years. Well, maybe 2 weeks. Like Rob said, we had a meeting in 2 weeks. You know, vast difference. But we probably won't know what that project is entirely for a little while. You know, I'd like to know the schedule on when we will have a project and when it'll be designed and potentially built. But I think we ought to get out ahead of the curve. I talked to Lynn Redmond. He's the one that's given Beaver data. He used to work for me. I won't say what I would like to say, but well, he doesn't quite know what he's talking about. That's all I'll say. We have an Iowa expression that's much more appropriate, right? So, we can either wait and have the public try to screw us over, or then come to meetings here and get some information, or we can get out ahead of the curve. There's not that many HOAs.
No, it's only probably going to be 1 or 2.
Well, yeah, there are a few down there.
There's a couple down there.
But so there's 10. I mean, one of us or one of the staff to go to a board meeting and say, you know, this is what we envision the project to be. This is.
You just say send them a letter, you know. I mean,
Or invite us.
Better have them, yeah.
Yeah, if you like.
In the letter, you could say, come on down and.
Some of them
talk
are very
about it.
apathetic. Beaver's problem was, and one of the reasons he got elected was, when they did the Victoria Street expansion, they lost 15 parking spaces. The project as envisioned by the public, if they read the pilot, is we're going to go down canyon with a 35-foot deep trench. Well, that's probably not what we're going to do. That's what they think is going to happen right now. So he's very concerned. That's the reason he wrote the article.
Well, on that same subject, and one of the last things I was going to say is, Scott and I talked about responding to Eric, and originally it was gonna go out under my name, but I think having it go under Scott's name depoliticized it. And it was extremely well written, first of all. I think what you presented addressed everything that Beaver neglected. And I think the true measure of it is, when you read the Daily Pilot and the articles are in there, you know, people will read the article, then when you read the comments that are down below, there were all kinds of comments about Beaver. With you, there were two comments. One from Jeff West, who congratulated you on what you said, and from the Nature Commission, which we're gonna, and oddly enough, when you read the comment by Kevin, the Nature Commission, he admitted the need for the project. He says, they understand that we need to do this, but we're still disrupting a natural environment. Okay, so where do you trade off? But anyway, Scott, I just wanted, it was very, very well written, and I think it more than addressed what Eric had to say.
Plus, we ought to thank Jeff West for including it in the.
Yeah, because they did cut out a very important paragraph.
They cut out that piece of yours.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
And they corrected it.
They
so,
did, yeah,
anyway.
after reading Jeff West's blog.
After reading Jeff's blog.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for
You bet.
taking the burden on that. Okay, anything else?
Are we gonna do that? Anything
Yeah.
else? Okay. I just wanted to tell you that on this World Games that I'm representing the city on, involved, they're having, and I could pass this around if you want, as long as I get it back. It's tomorrow. They're having a special guest and a host town program, Special Olympics, Wednesday, April 15th. And we're also selling these for the Leo's Club and for actually Lions.
For Special Olympics?
It's Special Olympics. It's $5 and it's got different decals on it. So anyway, if anyone's interested, I am going to it naturally, and it's a host town project.
I gotta go recycle a bunch of cans and bottles tomorrow, so I can pay my taxes tomorrow.
You must not have told much.
Oh, yeah.
You do, garage?
Yeah.
It's got a lot of cans.
That must be it then,
Okay, that's it.
Okay, good job.
Thanks.
Thank
Then
you.
we'll adjourn
Thomas.
this meeting.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I read the agenda, that's what
So did I. We had Uber today.
you did. Good job. Bye, everybody. See ya.
See ya.